In terms of graphical engines or games engine, we all know the big dogs. Unreal Engine, Unity, they are everywhere. But it wasn't always a two-horse race. Not long ago, the biggest publisher built their own tech in-house from the ground up. These engines had characters, they had quirks, and they produced some of the most iconic games of the last 2 decades. But now they are mostly gone, replaced by the convenience of Unreal Engine 5. Today, we are paying tribute for these 5 engines that deserved a better fate. First off, an engine that defined a generation for Capcom, MT Framework. The MT framework stand for multi-thread, multi-target, and meta tools. This engine was Capcom's secret weapon built internally to tackle the brand new and very complex hardware of the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. Its history really starts in the mid of 2000s. Capcom needed a versatile next-gen engine that could handle massive scale action, and its first 2 big tests, Dead Rising in 2006 and Lost Planet Extreme Condition in 2007. Think about Dead Rising for a second. The game was defined by this engine. That sheer number of zombies on screen at once was something we had literally never seen before. It was a technical showcase. The empty framework was a beast handling huge numbers of objects and characters, which also made it perfect for Lost Planet's giant boss battles and incredible snows effect. His milestone was just a list of hits. It powered the stunning combat of Devil May Cry 4, the co-op chaos of Resident Evil 5 and 6, and even the grand scales of Dragon's Dogma. But his greatest achievement and his swan song was Monster Hunter World. That game was a global phenomenon and the beautiful, seamless ecosystem we all thanks to the final, most powerful version of Empty Framework. So, what happened? Why did they stop? Well, Capcom built a successor, the RE Engine. RE Engine was built to be more flexible to create photorealistic visuals for games like Resident Evil 7 to scale better to different hardware. Anti-Framework was a powerful but aging workhorse from the 360 PlayStation 3 era. It had a hell of a run, but it was time to retire. Still, when you look at the sheer variety of classics it's produced, you have to wonder what it could have done with one more generation. Next up, an engine that defined a cinematic storytelling and still causing controversy. Today, I am talking about CD Projekt Red's Red Engine. The Red Engine was born out of necessity. For the first Witcher, CD Projekt Red used a heavily modified version of BioWare's Aurora engine, the same one that powers Neverwinter Nights. For the sequel, they wanted complete control. They wanted to build a non-linear, mature RPG with staggering graphics, and no licensed engines will cut it. So they built the Red Engine 1 for the Witcher 2 Assassin's of Kings in 2011, and it was a monster. That game on PC was a graphical benchmark for years. It was beautiful, but it was also famously unstable and incredibly demanding. The true milestone, the legend, was Red Engine 3. This is the engine that powered The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt in 2015. I mean, what is there to say? It has one of the most unbelievable, stunning, and reactive open worlds ever made. The dynamic weather, the wind blowing through trees in Valen, the sheer density of Novigrad, it was all Red Engine 3. It was built specifically for complex branching and story-driven open world games. And then there was Red Engine 4 and Cyberpunk 2077. This is where the story gets complicated. The engine was pushed to its absolute limit, designed to handle a dense vertical futuristic city with no loading screen. On a high-end PC, it was and is a visual marvel. But on the last generation consoles, the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One specifically, it was a technical catastrophe. It couldn't cope. That disastrous launch is why the Red Engine is on this list. It's not dead, but its future was cut short. Because of the Cyberpunk fallout, CD Projekt Red officially announced that all their future games, including the next Witcher saga, will be made in Unreal Engine 5. They're abandoning their own 20 years old tech. It's a sad end for an engine that gave us The Witcher 3, but it's a perfect example of how one bad launch can kill a generation of technology. Next one, and this is one a real heartbreaker. It was an engine so advanced, so full of potential, it might have been too good, and I'm talking about Konami's Fox engine. The Fox engine is for many synonymous with one name, Hideo Kojima. Development started after Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriot in 2008. Kojima's vision was to create the single best engine in the world. He wanted a tool that would allow for rapid multi-platform development and most importantly, achieve true photorealism. And he wasn't kidding. The engine's first real showcase was Metal Gear Solid 5 with its prologue, Ground Zeroes, and then in 2015, The Phantom Pain. Let's be honest, that game still looks and runs better than most games coming out today. It delivered a locked 60 frames per second on console with physics, lighting, and weather systems that were absolutely revolutionary. It was a masterpiece of a technical design. And who can forget the other thing it produced? PT. That terrifying photorealistic hallway loop was just a tech demo for the Fox engine. It was also meant to tease the cancel of Silent Hills. It proves engine's versatility for horror. So what happened? And this is the tragic part. The Fox engine was tied directly to Kojima, and in 2015, Konami had a very public, very messy breakup with him. Kojima left, and the engine's visionary was gone. By the way, I'm planning to focus on a single future content about Hideo Kojima's and Konami saga. So, what about Konami? Konami owned the engine, so they kept using it, but for what? Pro Evolution Soccer games and Metal Gear Survive. We don't talk about Metal Gear Survive here. A total misuse of its powers. After a few years, Konami seemingly abandoned it entirely, shifting their PES series, now eFootball, to Unreal Engine. The Fox engine was a tool that could have powered a new generation of incredible stealth and horror games. It's now just sitting on a shelf collecting dust. A victim of corporate drama is the definition of an engine that deserved a second chance. Alright, for our next to last pick, we're digging up an engine that revolutionized a whole genre and then just vanished. Let's talk about E-Tech 5. When you hear E-Tech, you think about Doom and Quake, you think about John Carmack, a programming legend, and E-Tech 5 or ID Tech 5 was his last big magic trick at the company. First shown us in 2007, its killer feature was a cool buzzword, mega texture. The idea was that artists could create one single massive unique texture for an entire game world. We're talking about 128,000 by 128,000 pixels. The engine will then stream its bit that is needed as you need them. And basically, this means that no repeating texture, no ugly tiling, every surface in the world could be unique. The first game to use it was 2011's Rage, and while the game got some mixed reviews, the tech was astounding. It runs at 50 frames per second on console and had this vast, beautiful, and eerily unique landscape. It really did look like a pre-rendered cinematic, but you were playing it. After Rage, it was used to power the incredible Wolfenstein The New Order and The Old Blood, and Tango Gameworks used a modified version of the first The Evil Within. But here's why it died, and it's for two reasons. First, John Carmack let id Software to go work on the Oculus VR at Meta, the parent company of Facebook. Second, id Software has been bought by Cinemax. Cinemax make the call, this revolutionary engine will not be licensed out to other studios, it will be kept in-house for Cinemax's own studios only. This decision stunts its growth, and it never got a widespread adoption of, say, Unreal Engine 3. And without its original creator, id Software moved on, building iTech 6 for Doom 2016, which prioritized fast-paced 60 frames per second action over the mega texture concept. iTech 5 was this brilliant, weird, artistic-focused engine that got locked up in a box and was eventually replaced by its more aggressive younger brother. And from our final engine, one that powers one of the most iconic comebacks in gaming history, and I'm talking about Crystal Dynamics' Foundation engine. Back in the late 2000s, Crystal Dynamics had a problem. They were in charge of Tomb Raider, but the series has grown stale. For the 2013 reboot, they needed a new Lara, a new tone, and a new tech. They'll build the Foundation engine. Its job was to deliver a gritty, cinematic, and emotional experience, and they did nail it. The 2013 Tomb Raider reboot was a visual stunner, but the engine's real claim to fame was its character rendering. It was one of the first engines to implement AMD Tres FX hair technology. Lara's hair wasn't a steel helmet, every strand moved individually. It sounds small, but it was a massive step of character realism. The engine was upgraded for 2015's Rise of the Tomb Raider, which is still one of the best looking games of the last generation. There's no deformation, the lighting, the intricate tombs, it was a powerhouse. It was also used by Eidos Montreal for Shadows of the Tomb Raider to complete the trilogy. So, where did it go? Well, this is a story for our modern industry. The studio Crystal Dynamic was sold by his parent company at the time, Square Enix, to Embracer Group, and in 2022, Crystal Dynamic announced their next Tomb Raider game will be built on Unreal Engine 5. Just like that, the Foundation engine, which has so successfully rebooted an icon, was thought aside. It's not that it was bad, it's just that it's cheaper, faster, and easier to hire for Unreal. The Foundation engine is a casualty of efficiency, and it gave us a new generation of Lara Croft, and for that, it deserved more than just to be a footnote. And there goes our list: Empty Framework, Red Engine, Fox Engine, iTech 5, and the Foundation engine. Those are the machines that remind us that the best tech doesn't always win.